Welcome to Anchor News Now. I'm Jackson Reith.
And I'm Chris Artachi. Since the last time we saw you, the Shortman football team has played 3 games.
Now, we're going to send it over to our sports analyst, Tucker Budzar, for more details.
In weeks 6 and 7, the Shortmen played away games at Amherst and Elyria, with Avon Lake winning both. The Shortmen beat Amherst 27-20 in a very rainy game. And then, a week later, they beat the Elyria Pioneers 28-0. In week 8, it was senior night, and the Shortmen faced off against Olmsted Falls in a great game. On the first drive, the Shortmen offense moved on the field very quickly and finished with an Alex Kowalski touchdown. Then, Aiden Stewart scored a 35-yard receiving touchdown soon after. Then, Olmsted Falls scored a touchdown of their own. The Shortmen were up at halftime, 27-17. In the third quarter, the Shortmen and Olmsted Falls traded field goals, with the score going into the fourth being 30-20, with the Shortmen up. In the fourth quarter, the Shortmen offense struggled to get anything going, and then Olmsted Falls tied the Shortmen at 30-30, sending the game into overtime. At the start of overtime, Olmsted Falls got the ball and scored a touchdown. With the Shortmen having one more chance to score, Alex Affolter threw an 8-yard touchdown to Aiden Stewart for his 3rd touchdown of the game. Now the score is 37-37 going into the second overtime. The Shortmen failed to score in the first drive of the second overtime, and then Olmsted Falls scored a touchdown to win the game 43-37 against the Shortmen.
Thank you, Tucker, and wow, I'm hungry.
Well, Chris, it's a good thing Kevin cooked up something delicious this week. Now, let's see what he made for us this time.
Hi, I'm K-Dog. Welcome to Cooking with K-Dog. Today we're going to be making smash burgers K-Dog style. The first step to preparing your meat is by using hamburger seasoning, black pepper, and garlic salt. Now to cut up some onions. Now we'll throw some onions in the meat. Now it's time to mix. Now that your meat is mixed, you're going to want to shape them into balls. The next step is to put butter in your pan, on your pan, and let it get really hot. Now that your butter is fully melted, you're going to put 2 meatballs in your pan and smash them down. Now flip your patties. Now, if you prefer cheese, put it on your patties. Now, time to toast your buns. Now that everything's ready, it's time to prepare your burger. Now, enjoy.
Wow, Kevin, that looked amazing.
That did look great, Kevin. But by chance, do you know what the school lunch for the week is? Because that topic is making me very hungry.
Hey everyone, we're going to start off this week's lunch with a rodeo burger and some french fries. And on Tuesday, the lunch is going to be chicken strips, and if you don't like chicken strips, there will also be pasta with meatballs and garlic twist breadsticks. On Wednesday, the cafeteria will be serving Bosco sticks and fresh baked cookies. Thursday, we'll be having cinnamon glazed French toast sticks, hash browns, and some pork sausage patties. And finally, to wrap up this week on Friday, the lunch will be serving golden crispy boneless wings, mac and cheese, and if you don't like any of the lunches in the cafeteria, they will always be serving PB&J sandwiches.
I can't wait for lunch this week with all those delicious options coming up this week. For our next segment, we're going to go over to Aries and see what happened this week in history.
Hi, I'm Tucker Aries Budzar, and welcome to Week 2 of History with Aries. On October 17, 1933, Albert Einstein arrived in the United States as a refugee from Nazi Germany. On October 18, 1867, the United States paid $7.2 million to Russia to take possession of Alaska. On October 16, 1793, during the French Revolution, the Queen of France was beheaded. Thank you for watching Week 2 of History with Aries. See you next time.
Wow, Tucker, thank you for the history lesson.
Hey, Jackson, do you know what the weather's like for the week?
No idea, but I bet our weatherman Chris knows all about it.
Now let's go see what I had to say about the weather this week. Hi, I'm Chris Atachi, and this is your weekly weather report. On Monday, there's a chance of clouds with a high of 62 and a low of 46. Tuesday doesn't change much with a high of 62 and a low of 47 with some clouds. Wednesday, there's a high of 62 and a low of 46 with a chance of a little bit of rain. Thursday is a high of 64 and a low of 50 with some sunny skies. And Friday will be the most average night of the week with a high of 63 and a low of 46. Well, there's your weekly weather report. I'm Chris Artachi, and tune in next week for another weekly weather report.
Thanks, Chris, for the weather report for the week.
Did you watch any football this week?
No, but I paid attention to my fantasy football team.
Well, let's go look at what happened this week in the fantasy football world with our weekly podcast, Boom or Bust.
Welcome back to Anchor News Now Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Reed.
I'm Chris Artachi.
I'm Tucker Budzar.
And I'm Andrew Good.
So, pretty interesting week in fantasy. We had to miss a week because we were not ready in time, and it was a half week. So, this is our second episode of our Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah, woohoo!
3-0 this week in fantasy. I have one undefeated team left.
I don't care.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
I don't.
moving on to our busts segment. Our first bust is 100% going to be Travis Etienne. Negative 0.1
Negative
points,
1.
3 carries,
Wow.
and he was out of the game because he is a bum. He sucks. I'm going
Well,
to
he
drop
also
him.
was injured, so
Yes,
I mean,
that's why I'm
he's
saying.
battling
I
injury.
don't really care. He's not good for fantasy football.
Another one is Dak Prescott. He had like 3.6.
Dude, he is so bad.
So
I
much.
can't.
Yeah, when the Lions beat them 47 to whatever. Yeah, that's what
9.
happens.
They showed a clip. They did a lateral to an O lineman.
Yeah, I
during
saw
the
that.
game.
Yeah, they
That
were
was
they
so
were
funny.
playing with them. They were throwing touchdowns to their linemen.
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk was bad again. He sucks. He has one good week with last week, but this week he
He just hasn't really been performing well this
No,
year.
he hasn't. Nope, he's been pretty lackadaisical.
Chris
Dallas Goddard got injured in the first quarter. He got hurt and
Yeah.
then 0 points.
Like, that's the thing. Like, people can't really say that they're. I mean, I know they're bust, but it's really not their fault when they get injured.
Yeah. I understand. Saquon Barkley, 7.4. He played the Browns, so like.
The Browns. I will admit though, the Browns do have a pretty good run defense. Their pass defense is terrible, but they are able to stop the run a decent amount in a game.
Clearly, when you see Saquon with only 7 points, when he's been the RB1 pretty much the whole year, besides Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Chris Olave got another concussion, but he had a fumble and he had negative half a point.
Now what you want to see, his second concussion already. He could be on Tua alert for another one.
And then
speaking of concussions, Marvin Harrison had a
he
concussion.
dropped. He looked like he dropped dead. That was rough.
It was a scary thing to watch. Tucker Budsar, you got anything to add on this whole segment that we've been talking about?
Nope.
All right, on to our booms. Definitely Terry McLaurin with 23.3 points.
Although, biggest one by far that no one even expected. Sean Tucker, that is really
Yeah,
his
Sean
name.
Tucker, 35 points. The Buccaneers RB3 drops 35.
51 points from the Bucks against the Saints.
Yeah, it was a good offensive game for the Buccaneers.
It was insane.
Baker was good.
Caleb Williams was also really good.
You're right, 4 touchdowns. Good knowledge.
He's
Tucker.
actually doing something. He's
You
starting
haven't
to
talked
cook.
all podcast either. Like,
Yeah, that's why I'm talking right now.
I'm playing. And then we have 45 points combined from Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson in the Falcons backfield.
Really
Yeah, 20 for
strange.
Tyler Algier and 25 for
big
Bijan.
person that actually finally did something fantasy. Keenan Allen, 25 points. He
I know.
finally scored a touchdown this
Because
year.
he's in an offense with two receivers that are better than him and a good tight
No,
end.
but Odunze was out, and DJ Moore was hurt, so Keenan Allen got a lot of big targets
So he stepped up.
to the plate.
AJ Brown also did good.
Yes, he did. My fantasy team
Yeah.
back after 5 weeks, and he delivers. He
Okay.
delivers hard. He
All right,
delivers
so
good.
we're talking about like in general fantasy. Can you stop talking about your fantasy? Do you realize how no one else has mentioned their fantasy team?
He's like my
but
team's
you?
3-0, or what is it, 3-0? I have
'cause-
I have 3-0 teams.
Because I thought that was like one of the things we were gonna do was like talk about like how our fantasy teams did because we're all
Not
Okay, well,
just
my fantasy team sucks.
I
So
lost
there,
it.
you
I lost
So
happy?
that's why you don't want to talk about yours.
Yeah.
Mine are all good, so sorry. Let's not talk about mine again though. Tucker, how's yours doing?
Good. I went 1-on-1 this week.
Good stuff.
went
Hey,
2-0
AK
this
Dog.
week, though.
AK
I went
Dog.
1
Who'd you
and
lose
2.
to this week?
You, Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Dang. Also, another surprising one. Joe Mixon, after 5 weeks of him being injured, he comes back and immediately drops 28.
Yeah, it was a good week for running backs. Except for like Travis Etienne and James Cook was out, and so was Ramondre Stevenson. And guess what? Guess who's back this week?
Who? Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah, I'm going to that game.
It's King,
Oh
bro.
yeah, we're
It's
gonna be like
King.
Chubb, and I'll be like, woo.
And then Deshaun Watson's
Really?
gonna,
That's all you have to do?
Deshaun Watson's going to throw
Woo.
3 picks.
And then
Yeah, and we're gonna start Jameis Winston. That's gonna wrap it up for our fantasy football podcast. Hope all of you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week for another fantasy football boomer bust.
See y'all later, man.
See you guys.
See ya.
Adios.
Man, I love fantasy football, but the real life football team in Cleveland sucks. At least we have the Guardians and the Cavs because without them, we'd be doomed. For a recap on all those teams, let's send it over to Andrew Good to show us what happened over the last week or so in Cleveland sports.
Cleveland! This is for you! Oh!
Hi, I'm Andrew Good, and this is your weekly Cleveland sports news. The Guardians kicked off their playoff run this Saturday for Game 1 of the series between the Detroit Tigers. The game started with the Guardians scoring 5 runs in the first inning, with hits from Steven Kwan, Jose Ramirez, and Josh Nair, along with a monster home run by Lane Thomas to give us a 5-0 lead. Ultimately, the Guardians ended up winning 7-0 in a great opening win. The Guardians will play again on October 7th at 4 against Detroit for Game 2. The Cleveland Browns played the Washington Commanders this past Sunday, losing 31-13 in a horrific game for Browns fans to watch. The Browns defense giving up 434 yards in the game. The Browns will play away at the Eagles at 1 o'clock, hoping to get a bounce-back win. For further advice, I would not watch the Browns this year. The Ohio State Buckeyes played the Iowa Hawkeyes at home this past weekend. The Buckeyes won 35-7, as it was a close game in the first half, with Ohio State only up by 7. But Jeremiah Smith had an incredible one-handed catch to shift the momentum into Ohio State's hands to win the game. And finally, the Cavs will play their first preseason game on October 8th at 7 o'clock. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time on Cleveland Sports News. See ya.
Well, that's all for us. With Anchor News Now, I'm Jackson.
And I'm Chris. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for more each week.
Bye everyone.